Well, my name is Rose Ornstein. I was born in Poland, and I was living with my parents, 3 sisters, 1 brother. We had a grandmother living with us. We were a happy family, and I came from Orthodox family. My grandmother came from really, I would say, even too Orthodox at that time for me. Even. Her brother was a rabbi. So, of course, when she came from such a family, our home was very Orthodox. Mm-hmm. We had to observe Sabbath, and we had to have different dishes, and really was very strict. My grandmother behaved herself like they call Rebbetzin. She had a different set of hair. This means she took off she had a little, like a cap during the day. And when she went out, she had a different set of hair. Like here, they buy like here, but this day was made for her especially. And really, it was like a different life that time. It was warm, it was pleasant. We observed Sabbath, we observed every holiday. The children were dressed for every holiday really like a different world. When I look up now what's going on.
How many children were you, Rose?
We have 5 altogether. We have 3 sisters, 1 brother, and I. There's 5 children altogether.
And you were
and
the
I
first.
was the oldest. And I've been really very much loved. I think like always the oldest. Everybody paid a lot of attention to me, especially my grandmother. She was like the housekeeper of the house because my grandfather passed away. So she was with us. And I could see that respect what my father gave to my grandmother. I cannot see it anymore. I never saw it. She was like a queen in our home. She was, everybody listened to her. And my father was, I think, sometimes I think he was listening more to her than to my mother. It was unbelievable, the respect, and that whatever she said, but she said that whatever she had really made sense. And she was a very good housekeeper. She cooked, and we had a little woman coming in for cleaning. Wasn't like now maids, but they came in because I was born in Poland. So we had those women when they came to wash, and we had a business, like a general store, like usually those people in that time, the Jews had in Poland. And one store you could find like in Macy's, but Macy's 100 times smaller, but everything was there, you name it, food and clothes and everything together. So the parents were busy there. And my grandmother used to take care of the house with a pretty nice size home, with a garden in the back. They owned land too, and they had always connection with other people, with the land owner. So my father used to always go to them and take care of this. And then we had like a sugar mill in that city. This helped to people, the Jewish people, that not very well off, but much nicer than other cities, because there was a lot of people that came to the sugar factory. And they had good jobs, so they could take, buy nice things from the store, and we made it out okay. Considering that time in that time, but before the war was okay for us. Not very rich, but comfortable.
Were there many Jewish families in the community?
In that place where we used to live was about 40 families. But those people that I remember, everybody was well off, not rich of our standards, but well off, nice, and they called it that time balbatish, like nice Jewish homes. Matter of fact, I have some few people that survived, which I'm very much in touch with them. My cousin lives in California. Mm-hmm. We always observing the holidays together, and we are like sisters and brothers.
What about the school? What was that like?
At school, we had a public school, only a public school in that little town. And we used to go together with the Poles. It was not such once in a while you heard called Dirty Jew or something, but it wasn't that bad. They did, once in a while they beat up a little young boy, or I still was young at the time, about 12, 11. And I remember they hit each other, but it wasn't so bad. But going to high school was another story. They didn't take Jews to high school. They took once a year, one Jew, like a quota, to high school. So, well, they say, I remember too, I've been very good at school, and especially in math. The schools were very crowded, so let's say we had 16, 7 together in one room. Then the sixth answered questions, the 7 were quiet. But when the 7 answered, then like a different of hours, whatever, answering questions. I remember when they used to ask people, young people, some questions, when they did not ask me. I've been always the younger one, but I've been very good at school. So I made up my mind, I've been very young, I have to go out from that city. I want to be something. I don't want to be a landowner, but I have a husband like this one. I want to be more to it, because somehow it's always I had some guts, I think, in me, or some willpower. I want to be out, and I want to see the world, and I always want to be a doctor, I know. Because my cousin went to Paris already, and so I always looked up to him. I said, I want to be something like him. Well, I went to high school. I got not one B, everything A's. So I thought, with A's, I will get into high school, nothing to it. They accepted me. They couldn't say no, but we have no place for you. That's what they did. Then I came home, so the parents, that time you cannot go out from one city to the other, one to travel to another school. So the high school was maybe 10 miles from us. They could walk even. A little city, but not too far. There maybe they would let me go. But to go to Lublin, a few hundred miles, so a different city, no question about it. I came home, I said, I have to go. I cannot stay home and not, Mama, no, stay another year too. You marry, you're a pretty girl. I said, nothing. Oh, I'm not staying. I'm going. How? I said, take me any place, but not to wait. I cannot wait here. She said, no. You know what I did? I got a hunger strike. I didn't eat. But I didn't eat, but my grandmother felt always sorry for me. She always pushed me in something. I said, no. But still, when she pushed me a little bit, I took, nobody should see. It was like a young kid. But really, a few days I didn't eat almost. Like a hunger strike. I said, I have to go. And they knew my character. I'm very strong. That time I've been really strong. I said, what could we do with her? And they loved me so much. Let's try. So my mother remembered in Lublin, a big city, like here, Washington, it was like in Poland, Lublin, Warsaw. She said, you know what, I remember I had a cousin, it's funny how that time they were thinking. I've been to a wedding years ago, and they live in Lublin. The name she remembered, but where he lives, no. How do you want to go? We go. I said, she want to go? Fine. I said, we go maybe something between time, maybe she will not find him, we go someplace else, but let's go. You should see, I bought Mommy. I remember like today, I bought a little hat, we went on shopping. I wanted she should look like a lady from a big city. So we take the bus and we go to Lublin, and I looked at her. She looked so pretty. She was a young woman at the time. She was in the 20s, maybe 20. They married at the time, maybe 16. And she was like now, really a youngster. And I looked, I was so proud of her, and we stayed in the bus, in a few hours we traveled, and then the bus stopped in Lublin, and she walks out, and I see, she said, oi, he's coming. I said, who? In Polish, which we spoke a little bit more Polish with me, Jewish, Russian, but more with me Polish. This was really, later I will tell you why I've been so good in Polish. I survived on account of this. And I got a little embarrassed. I said, I met a nice lady, like a lady from a big city, and she behaved so
like a country
like a little, that's right. So I said, Mommy, quiet, I'm like, quiet. She said, oh, he's coming. Who's coming? She said, that guy, what I told you, it's my cousin, he's coming. I couldn't believe it, that maybe she's dreaming, something happened to her. And sure enough, she runs out to him, and she walks with him to me. And then to the front. I looked at the guy, really a very distinguished, like a, from big city man. He looked like a wealthy man, very well dressed, different type of people there. So I looked at him. She said, this is the Yankel. Her name was Yankel. This I remember. His Yankel. And this is the cousin, and he looked at me. Somehow, I guess he liked me. And they invited us right away with the suitcase. It took a doroshka. This means like a carriage and a horse. This was Lublin.
So this is how you came to live in Lublin, huh?
Right. So we went with that carriage and horse, and we went home. I came to that home, and she greeted us, that his wife, my cousin, and I looked at that home. I could see the wealthy home, was very well decorated. It was something missing there. I didn't know what, because my home was lively, a lot of children, warm, everybody was smiling. Here was like a dead house, but I didn't know what's missing. I couldn't right away pinpoint it. I thought maybe the city is like this, people are different, I don't know. When I look around, they made us lunch, and we start talking, and mother started asking questions about his children, and then we find out she lost a son. And I think, how long I've been in Lublin, I saw that the whole life they're mourning. I mean, like mourning about that son. She never forgotten, never, till the war. Whatever I saw that woman, she was not herself. He was a little bit different. He went out in the world. He was with people. And she was. But they took me in like a daughter, especially my cousin. She really catered to me. So I think back about my life. I've been lucky, though. Wherever I went, I don't know, what was it? My personality, I think my character, I think I've been always myself, always good to people, be always whatever I thought is good to do for people, and behaving right, and whatever. So, and she was really at another home, but not the same. Although they were good, and they were nice to me. But I felt cold. I mean, it was such like a depression at home. Whenever I had to go home, let's say I went only twice a year home. I felt so good. I've been so happy a month, before I was thinking how to go, because it was a different home. That warmness and that good families you can never replace with money. You can never replace with nothing.
You must have been homesick.
Always, always. But I had my goal. I cannot achieve in that city. I have to achieve someplace else. And I had a dream. A dream. And I said, in a few years, I will finish, and I come home, or whatever. I will be more, I grow up, and I will have something. And they will be proud of me. This was my goal.
How did that part of the dream come to an end? When you were home on summer vacation, was that?
Then this was the 39th, in 1939. When I left Lublin, I've been about 13 or 12, or something, between 12 and 13. And I came home, I've been already 15, almost 16. And I came home only for vacation, because I went to high school there, and I had to go finish up high school back to Lublin. And I packed already my suitcases to go back. It was September. And you know, it's how funny children think. Although I was a good student, but still I want to stay home longer. I said, well, I find out already through the radio. The war broke out, but I said, well, in a week or two will be over. I stay home another week or two. Well, that thoughts, what I was thinking was like a bad dream, never was finished. The war kept on going on longer and longer, and I was staying home already. And I was staying home till 1941. But that time we had a bad. The German came over, the war broke out. We felt already. They felt very bad. They didn't take us right away to ghettos, because it was a very small amount of people, so they left us temporarily like this. It was not ghettos, but we felt, because the German came over there, the soldiers, some groups, and then like the police and the Gestapo, and they used to come at night to the Jews, hitting them. They didn't kill yet, but make us miserable every night. We had like the general store, whatever. They used to take everything down from shelves and throw on the floor, and put some whatever, he had water and whatever, and they make like a mess. Every morning we couldn't do for days putting back. We never put back. It was impossible. We had no life. Because whenever they catch somebody, or they beat them up, the man was laying for days, they could move. And the girls, they did a lot of harm too. But somehow the girls always run out someplace. They never wait for them, of course. They had to fight back. I mean,
You had
fight back.
some narrow escapes, didn't you?
Pardon me?
Some narrow escapes where they almost caught
I've been
you.
always escaping because we had like a house with two, a back door and a front door, few doors. So they never knew how to go. So I've been always escaping. Every night I've been running someplace. They didn't know the city because there was a lot of trees. So I knew it, and so we can always escape. And that time, but it was like the summer. The winter was horror. We were freezing to death. But till they went. A few hours they came, they made the job, the worst thing that could happen, and they left. Whom they could find, they beat them up or whatever. And the girls, some girls, they had misfortunes with them, but I've been lucky. They always looked for me. Somebody told them, see, a pretty girl, because they said that time I've been pretty. So they looked for me, but
you were
I've been lucky. I never faced them, but I saw them sometimes in the daytime, which in the daytime was quiet. Now, but in 1941, one day, this was, I remember, the morning, was a September day, or June. It was a nice day, and I remember like today, came the Gestapo, and they had Polish police too, and they told us we should pack the possessions, and we are going for labor camp. We cannot take too much. Whatever we can take, only like a suitcase and overnight things, and leave everything. We come back, but temporarily everybody has to go. There was a panic, of course. Everybody. Meantime, we heard all kind of stories about camps, about Auschwitz, but nobody believed it. Nobody. It was like, when I look back, I cannot believe it myself. How could people sit? And everybody, I mean, a lot of people run away, and they told, and nobody believed it. They told somebody some stories.
Are you angry that you didn't believe it, or that the family didn't take more major steps?
I'm sad. Angry? Well, I don't know. If I would be angry, I would be angry over my life, but I survived. I don't know what I'm really angry for. I'm just sad they didn't leave before, because we could escape on the other side, the Russian game. At least they would survive. A lot of people survived that time, and then they came back. This is what I'm very sad. Angry? I don't know. To be angry, there's a lot of things to be angry.
You lost all of them then?
I
no
lost
one
everybody.
was saved by the
Everybody.
Russians?
Nobody survived but me. Not sisters, not brothers, not aunt. I have only one aunt, which lives in Miami. She came to Cuba years ago. I was not born, maybe I was a year old. Somebody brought her there. She was a young girl. She had some misfortune with love stories. It was years ago, so somebody took her there, and she survived during Castro. And she ran away 10 years ago from Castro. Believe it? And she came to Miami. She was about 70. She married again. She was very happy married, about 10 years now she survived. I'm skipping now. It's just only that my aunt survived.
And what about that little sister who ran away?
Well, now I want to tell you this. When they took us there together, I mean, they told us we should pack the possessions, and we should come in a big, like a place all together, the 40 families, and they brought some big trucks, and everybody had to get up in those trucks. But my grandmother, how she went up, she was not a youngster anymore. They pushed up, and we all went on those trucks with the little possessions. And they took us about 1 hour, maybe 1 hour and a half, driving again to a place like a farm. There was nobody there. And they left us, the whole group there by ourselves, that unloaded like I don't know, like animals. And we're waiting. They start bringing other people from different cities, which I never knew them. They brought us a few thousand people like that from all over the cities, little cities. And this was maybe in the afternoon. And they told us to wait. Would you believe it? Nobody moved. Nobody escaped. We were waiting. Could you tell me for what they were waiting? Waiting. But I had a little sister. She was younger than me. She looked she didn't look Jewish, had a Jewish look, but this is what they said. She was dark, but she looked somehow different a little bit, really. And she spoke, of course, very good Polish, and she had a lot of friends. And she slipped out and she escaped. And till today, I'm looking for her. I don't know if they killed her or she mingled with the Poles, or she married, or she's alive, nothing. I've been to Washington, I've been to the gathering in Israel, I search for her, I do everything, but so far, nothing. And this is always in my mind. Wherever I am, wherever I talk, whatever I do, and she's always in my mind. Everybody's in my mind, but I wouldn't say I'm every day going back with my memories. But when I go back, I'm really very sad, and sometimes it makes me sick. But I don't let myself, because life has to go on. I think I'm left here for some purpose. Why me? So there must be some purpose to tell this story, for my family at least. I wouldn't for everybody, for my family. Somebody, I have a daughter, maybe she for her generations, for her, she will have children. Maybe it never should happen again. Some purpose. But for her, really, I search. And I hope someday I still find her. Hopes, I never give up. When I would give up hopes, I wouldn't be here. Want to tell more?
Okay, so you mentioned that you're all gathered in this place where your sisters
Yes, and you're staying, we slept with them. They left us there for the whole day, I mean the half a day and the whole night, till morning, 9 o'clock in the morning. The crew came, the Gestapo came by car, by jeeps, with big dogs, and they came by trains too. It was already like near a railroad station. And I just, that incident, I can never forget. You know why I cannot forget? Hundreds of people gathering together in a big place like a farm. No police, nothing. They left us like sheep, like animals, but, you know, like under, you know, like cows that was look for something, and nobody moves. I think maybe this is what I know. My daughter, my sister just escaped, but which I never saw anymore. But nobody, which I know, quite a few people, nobody escaped. That was with me too. Now they came in the morning, the Gestapo, with dogs, and they start segregating. It was lines, but I had a feeling they will put us someplace to labor camp, or deep down. I didn't believe it. I mean, something is going on. I thought in my mind that something is more to it than the labor camp. So I thought the young one, they should maybe put to the labor camp, but the old one, maybe they kill or something. I didn't think, but I thought maybe something going on. So I remember too, my mother looked so young. I put a little something on your head, like a little scarf. She should look younger. She should really look young. And I thought maybe she should go with us, with me, with my other sister. No luck. They put her. They recognized her. So her and that younger sister, they put separate. So the children and the older people, they put right away. Now, later I find out, to the camps, and to Auschwitz or other camps, and they right away. They died there. And
it's hard to tell it, Rose.
I went in a different line, and they put me, in a different direction. Everybody, they put in a different direction. And my other sister, and the little brother, and the father, not different. Everybody is different. I know they look at the faces, they looked whatever, they liked it in different directions, different camps.
Was that the last that you saw of them?
The last what I saw them, that was the last what I saw them, was our separation. I saw later my father, for very short, my sister and my brother. It's a very, it's a story, but it's really not unbelievable. Unbelievable, I have to tell you that story. They went to a labor camp, and I went like to Helm, a different labor camp. And I've been there a few days later. I went to somehow there was such a camps which you could move a little bit, but they've been a very bad camp. So I somehow slipped out, and I went to the Jews. I've been always, see, I could pass very easy for not a Jewish girl. I've been like a Polish girl. I mean, the looks and my language, Polish language, was excellent, they said. Of course, if not, I wouldn't survive. So I slipped out from them, and I went to some people I knew Helm. They were not far to Helm, and I knocked on the door, and I went to them, and they accepted me, they gave me food.
Those were still Jewish people in
There
Helm?
was a few, hidden. Everything was hidden already because people were afraid to go out. It was everything, so whatever they could on the roof, untouched things, the attics, they were sitting there. But I find out, you go around and find out, and I didn't look like a Jewish girl, so I could talk to Poles, that I find out. So, and I escaped, and somebody else escaped. So they told me they saw my father, not far, maybe 20 miles from here. He's working there with my sister, my brother, the little one that was small, and they're digging some things there, and just they want, I think soon they will get killed because they do things which is not necessary, but they're there. No, I dressed myself, whatever I had, and I walked there. I went there. I find out where, and I went there up. And I thought, no, it's just miracles. It's unbelievable what's happening to people that time, and you're still here. So I looked at them, and I talked to them. They said, go away, they would kill you. I said, no, and I find out where's the chief of that camp. I went up to him. This was really something unbelievable. I went to that place, and the police boy said, listen, I want to speak to the chief. So that guy with the Gestapo looked at me. I thought I'm something insane. He said, so I went to that chief and told him, he is a girl. They didn't know who I am. I didn't know I'm Jewish. And he said, want to talk to you. When they saw a girl came like this, they couldn't believe it. They let me into him. And I went, he looked at me, and I told him the story. I said, listen, I have nobody. I was crying terrible. And I said, nobody is left. I thought, he will kill me. I don't care anymore. And I said, my mother's not here anymore, the little sister, and only my father, and those 3 people that is mine left. And you don't think that moment. I didn't think at all. And I said, I would like to see him, and I want to go and talk to them more, and I want to bring them something. He looked at me. I saw in his expression, he couldn't believe it. I have so much guts or something. And he called in, he said, let her go in. And I went in. And they cried, and I brought them later something, whatever I could, the next day. And a few days later, I made up my mind to go to him again and ask them, he could not release them. And I have witnesses, there's a man here that survived. He knows the story. I went once more to him, and I told him the story. I said, I'm alone, whatever I told him. He let me go, my father and my sister and my brother let me out. This is just unbelievable, what's happening that time to me. When I came and told my father he has some little paper to go out, he thought I got something not, I'm not normal, something happening to me. And when I opened the gate for him, he couldn't believe it. Something exists, something happened. And on top of it, I took the Jews, they gave me some few zlotys. I didn't have money already, and I took a carriage, with a little, and they were sitting with open, a hood, those hoods where they have those carriages, in the back. And I was sitting in the front with that guy, and the Gestapo was passing near us and the whole city. Nobody knew that the Jews in the back. They didn't expect that something like this, somebody could have so much guts to go in, and a Jew would go in at that time, and I brought them over.
Where did you think you'd go with them?
I went back to those people and acting there, but we couldn't stay too long there. We knew it's going worse and worse every day. They will find us, they will kill us here. So my father said, you know what, I have a place which I used to do business with him, like the landowner. He had a lot of land, and he's a friend of mine. I maybe go to him at night with the little one, and with the sister, with the brother, and you go. I'm sure you will survive. That's what he told me. You must go. You go to Lublin, go any place, because you have something. I don't know. I'm positive, but we are going to that landowner, 3 of us. But you go. You run. Like he knew it. I said, no, I don't want. He said, you must go. And we cried the whole night. We were thinking, and finally I decided maybe he's right, because something happened, at least somebody, or I didn't know what will happen. I thought maybe they will survive. And they left at night to those people, and they kept them there. They kept them there till 2 weeks before the end of the war. Later, they find out. Somebody told, a Polak told the Gestapo, he has some Jews hidden. And they took them out 2 weeks, mind you, before and they killed them. And I've been there after the war. Should I tell this about what happened after the war? When the war was finished, I went back to the city and I looked for them. When I came to the city, a woman stopped me. She said to me, "Don't go, my child, more far." I said, "What do you mean?" She recognized me. She said, "No," she made like a cross. She couldn't believe it. She was Catholic. I survived. I told her, "Yeah." She said, "Come to my house, sleep over, have something to eat. I will tell you later the story, but don't go far." So I didn't know what she meant, so I thought maybe I have to find out what she wanted to tell me. So when I was, at night she didn't want to tell me nothing, so I slept over. In the morning she gave me breakfast. And she said, "Listen, my child, I have to tell you a very sad story. First of all, I want you to go in that city because they killed a lot of Jews here when they came.
After the
Polacks,
war.
anti-Semitic, don't go. What happened with your family? I will take you there." I said, I thought maybe there's someplace. Come. They are not, they didn't survive. They were killed 2 weeks before. Anyway, so she took me there and she showed me where it was still a fresh grave. I mean, it was nothing, just a grave. Near a little river. It was a river, little water running, and they were there. All 3 of them. This was 2 weeks before the war. Well, this happened. I told myself, I don't want to be a Jew anymore. I survived Auschwitz. I survived another story I could tell you if you have time. How I survived this my life, Farah.
Yeah, the other betrayal too.
Yeah, and I saw no worth to be anymore, to fighting so much. So I think I'm going back. I'm not want to be a Jew, and I've went back to Lublin to lodge, went back to school, and I've been for a while like a Polish girl. I never wanted to be a Jew anymore. And there, I don't know. Do you want me to tell me about Auschwitz or go on with that, Paul?
Well, I think we'll go back now and
Okay.
talk about how you managed to
Yeah,
get...
but you want me to tell then when I don't want to be a Jew anymore?
Yeah.
Then I've been in lodge at that time. I went to school back. They gave me, because I've been Auschwitz, and they thought I'm a Pole too, so they gave me a little room. They took care of the Poles at that time. So they gave me a little job, and I really had a few months easier, but in my mind, in my heart, I've been very depressed, and they didn't know. I always told them I lost my family because the Poles, they were very, they couldn't believe it. How come a young girl like you, where's your parents? I told them they're on the Russian side, always had to make up stories. I always had to live like 2 double lives. I never been myself, always telling things which I know the mind had worked. I could never think about those things now, what I was thinking that time. When I think that when you want to survive and you want something, the mind is working different. There's something about it. I don't know what it is. Really, I cannot imagine how could I do now. Whoever could do this, anybody. So I told them my parents on a different side. I know they lived. The German killed them, whatever. They were the partisans, but I know where they are now. So everybody helped me. They talked about how it will be better, maybe survive. But Jews, they never liked. Whatever they talked about the Jews, I thought I'm dying every minute. Every minute. I know. I think it's sometimes I was thinking better to die than to die every minute inside. 100 times I was dying. When they talked about the Jews, I thought they meant me. Always. One girl said in the office to me, "You know what? Her name was Kazimiera. From Polish name is Kazimiera Wiśniewska. And at home I was Rosalia. So Kazu, you know, she said, I always can recognize a Jew. I think, now she knows me already. I said, how? Don't you know how they behave, how they act, how they look? To me. I said, I don't. She said, they talk by hand, the accent. I said, I don't feel this way like you, but inside, and I was sitting with a girl in the office and talking to her, and I had to face her every day. wherever I went, it only was the Jew. The Jew was, whatever Hitler did was good. But I just couldn't face it anymore, but I thought maybe I could somehow survive this way, but I don't know how long. Meantime, I met a young Paul. We fell in love. When you are young, you don't think religion. Although inside I've been still a Jew, and I knew I will always be, but I want to find out what happened, what kind of person he is. He doesn't have to love everybody, every Jew, but at least be decent. So one day he said he would like me to go to his parents, because he was serious. It's what bothered me most. When you see some common people, they may be ignorant, but this was from a good family, Paul. He went to college already. The parents were like, yeah, like a cunt, and Poland was a big shot. So I thought from that boy, I could expect something. He had some character, some feelings, not even love Jews, but at least decent. So one day we just start talking about my family. I left. I know what happened to them. Even I said, but look what Hitler did even to Poles. I said, you can imagine what they did to the Jews. He said, don't remind me about the Jews. Whatever he did is not enough. That boy, what I supposed to marry, I said, what do you mean not enough? He said, when I would find a Jew now, I would, with my bare hand, kill them myself. When he told me this, you know, like I told you before, I died 100 times, but this time I died, I've been dead, I think. I didn't answer. I don't know. He recognized, I didn't know what to say. So I think I got like numb. I changed the subject, I don't know what I did, and I said goodbye. And I went home. Maybe he didn't recognize me, I'm a Jew, but he didn't like, maybe he thought I don't like that remark, or whatever he thought. I said goodbye. This was on the steps. I didn't pick up too many. Even he was, I never liked it in the evening to bring in. I was a different generation, different type to bring into a room. I was still at my
basic, the way you were raised.
That's my race, right? So I always wore it in me. I think I never grew out of it. Always wherever I've been. I always remember my grandmother. I always remember my home, and I've been always like this. So I said goodbye to him, and I came up to my room. And that time, I thought, that's enough. Rose has to be Rose Orenstein. I will never be only a Jew. I'm born a Jew. I have to die a Jew. Nothing doing. You can never play whatever you're not. You can play for survival, but not play with your whole life. This is what you're not. Never. Comes out. You cannot suffer. You suffered enough, but you cannot suffer always. But the play, the life is a play, but not with emotions and with your insight. So I decided that day, that night, I'm going back to my own people. This is what I belong. I packed my little whatever I have, not too much, and I left very early. I knew where the Jews are. What a life! Whenever I passed by, I always cried inside, and I'm afraid to go. And I've been always afraid. My whole life was like always be afraid what you are. The war was over, and I was still afraid to be a Jew. It's something like it was in me. You have to be running from something. But now I said, I'm not running, that's what I am. So I knocked to the door and I told them the story. I want to go out from Poland completely. And that time was Haganah. This was like underground. The Jews ran over to Germany, to Europe, Germany, Vienna, Austria, and from there they took them to Israel. Well, not Israel, it was Palestine. So I made up my mind. I'm going to fight. I'm going to anything. I'm going to be this what I am.
Rose, let me take you back to when you left your father, and then we'll come back to Israel and where you met your husband. But at the point your father said, leave, tell us what happened.
When I separated from my father, his sister, and the little brother, I started thinking, what should I do with my life? Where should I go? No place to go. To Kietos, to go to Germany. So I decided, I used to go to Lublin, what I told you before, to high school. And there I had a very dear friend, Paul. I'm a Polish girl, which I've been very friendly with them. I've been always coming up to the house. Very nice Polish people. That I said, not everybody is bad. They were Polish, but they were human. They were nice people. And I remember this deep down in my mind and my heart. So I decided from that Helm to go to Lublin. It wasn't so easy to go to Lublin from Helm. First of all, I didn't have so much money. I'd been alone. I didn't know how to handle with buses. I was afraid I didn't have papers. So, they could ask me some questions. So I started walking. I walked a day and I stopped and I told stories, those Poles, and then they took me by a little carriage. And a few days later, I finally, was some stories. One day I fell asleep. I'd been so tired in a little farm, because Poles had a lot of farms and going from one city to the other one. Not so big like here, but quite a few hundred miles to Lublin, a few days. By bus I could go in maybe 8 hours, but this way. But I went, I had to take me days because I didn't have transportation. A few hours here, a few days, had to sleep over, but some farms. But one day, I remember this, I will never forget. I fell asleep in a big tree. It was like on a farm. And I slept. But when I woke up, I heard like shooting. And I woke up and I see near my legs some shiny boots, because the German, they could, whatever, they could kill you, but the shiny boots and a good sandwich and a piece of apple, whatever they had, this was shooting in my hand, and this was the character of those people. So I woke up and I thought, oh my God, this must be the German. So now I came to senses, this is where they do the job. It was not far, they digged a big hole. I didn't see the hole, but later I saw it when they left. And they put a lot of people, a lot of Jews with those trucks, live. And they brought them there and they shoot them and they had to fall in. And I've been maybe, I don't know how many yards from there, laying. I fell asleep, I didn't know what I am. And they didn't see me. This is just, I show you, it's some luck. Every minute you die and I'm still alive. And now I'm here. No? Could you imagine what some destiny? I believe in destiny. I died every day, every minute, and I'm still here. This means there's some destiny or something more. Witness to something, to tell the story. And when I see this, I cannot. And when they left, but this before I even woke up, I had a dream about my mother. Only one dream, how long I left my mother. She brought me a big, basket of fruit, all kinds of, eat something. I've been hungry. My mind was only food. She said, take those something, eat, and run from here. Run to your friend. Everybody was my friend. And I woke up, this is what I saw them. And when it was quiet and a half hour, whatever, they did the job, I started running. I think I didn't walk, I ran. I don't know how I don't remember even what I did. Finally, there was stories before I came there. Finally, I came to that Polish people from Lublin with my friend. And I came to, I remember exactly where they lived, and I walked over, and I rang the bell. Again, I will never forget, but a lie, but a different, when I passed and I came into the house, I had the piano playing. The mother was playing piano, and the maid was in white opened the door. You know what? It was like two lives, like you are in the hell and you come to heaven. I've been in the hell quite a long time, and now I came to heaven, and I didn't know where I am. And that maid, she didn't know me because I've been already it was a new one, I guess, and she announced me to that to the lady. And when the mother came out, she was playing piano. Again, she made that cross. She couldn't believe it. She sees me. She said, Rosalia, you're still alive? Come in. I came in, and the friend, the little young girl came, or Shola just started hugging me like nothing happened. Look how nice people they were. You know, when somebody announced them, they would be killed, all of them. They took me in. The father was a mayor of the city, Grande, I'll never forget the name. And the father came later home too, and everybody was so happy to see me alive. I told them the story, what happened. They really were very sad. But too long they were afraid. I've been a few days there, but too long they were afraid to keep me there. They said, I would love you to have you here, but we could all get killed, and they kill you too. They were thinking what to do with me. I remember what kind of dinner they made. How I tell you, I believe in people. Yeah, after I think what I went through, what they did to my father, what I had so Auschwitz and everything, those people, they could be killed. Not only they, the family, and they kept me. She gave me her room to sleep in. Another story. When I would see everything, and I remember the room when I was staying there, and that she had such a bed with such a canopy bed. It's funny, when my daughter was born, I made up my mind she will have the same as she had it. It's funny how life, anyways, I'm going back to this, and I looked in that canopy, and I'm crying the whole night, of course, there's no question. I've been crying, and I've been thinking what's going on, but I've been happy, I have such a friend. And I was thinking, still people are good people, and are good. They were thinking what to do with me, and they did a lot, but they did. The father said he will bring me, because he was a mayor, he had papers. He brought me different papers with a different name, of course, and with that name, he said, you go to Germany, because this time the Germans took a lot of Poles for work. You know, they have labor camp, not labor, but work. They paid them very cheap. So they took women, and young girls and boys. He said, this is the best solution we should have for you. But you have to go alone to register. We cannot go with you. This was another luck. He said, I hope they will not recognize you because you don't look, you don't behave, you have everything, 90% not, they should not recognize you, because it was Polish people sitting there too. This wasn't Polish ground. It was German and Polish. They could recognize me any minute. But take a chance. You have nothing to lose. I took a chance. I went, I registered. I've been dying inside 100 times again. I thought maybe they recognize me. I didn't have, but they told me why I want to go. I told them my parents, they are different site, and I don't want to be there. You know, it made up. They told me what to say, and they registered me. And a few days later, I went to Germany. And there started another thing. And in Germany, going to Germany, I've been on the train. I've been always worried they recognize me. Always, you're always afraid. You always, the whole life, you're scared. How long I've been with them? Always. Because every second they could recognize, or somebody could say something, or somebody. But on the train was another girl, was a Jewish girl, should I say? And I couldn't sleep that night too, because I was thinking what happened with my parents, what happened with what's going to happen in Germany. You never know. And but still, I had hopes. If not, I don't think I would ever like to live, survive. I had hopes I will, after the war, when I go through everything, I will come home and have the warm home and tell him the story what I went through. This was always deep down my mind. I've always been thinking how will be beautiful the day. This is what kept me going. And going to Germany on the train took us maybe 2 days. And the Gestapo back and forth, watching us. And like I didn't sleep. I heard some girl slept, and she told a story in Jewish, or she was afraid or something. Mama, she said. So I right away knew she's Jewish. I kept her, and nobody should know she's Jewish, because right away I have problems with Gestapo, and I wanted to get killed. So I pushed her. She woke up. She didn't know where she is. But I didn't say nothing. I didn't want to tell her who I am. And we went to Germany. And God gave me, she wore the same barrack what I've been. When they segregated us, and she wore the same what I've been, the same house, like a barrack. Then we had to wash clothes. We had to, in a few months, and I've been there quite more than a year in Köln. It was in Leverkusen, Germany. I knew she's Jewish, and you know, when you have your own people, you want to be near them. I felt like I know her. So one day we washed together in a laundry, and I said, no, Helen had one name, but I think Helen. I said, you know what, I want to tell you something, but don't get scared, because I right away told her who I am. I am the same. You are Jewish, I'm Jewish too. She said, well, you're crazy. I said, no, maybe I am, but I am Jewish. I said, don't be afraid. I will not tell just anybody, but just let's be friends. No, she would be really very close. We would talk, and we had lunch together, whatever. We had such bunks. We had 2 bunks. This I have to tell you too. Everybody got a letter from home. Everybody. I didn't have a touch with those people. We made up to mind not to write to those Polish, that Maya, my friend. So I have no touch with nobody. And everybody told me that I skipped. I tell you the story. Everybody told me, Kaju, how come you never have a letter from home? I said, well, maybe they couldn't write. One day I wrote a letter to myself. I said, I'm going to have a letter. I wrote a letter to myself when at work, and I came up on the bunk and I started reading that letter. Look how far you go with your mind, how far you have to suffer to write yourself, to make believe somebody wrote you the letter. The neighbor, your neighbor, I mean my friend should know, the Poles, I have a letter too. They should not have some suspicious. You have to whole life, you have to think ahead. It's absolutely a horror. This I'm telling you, but to go through this is so many years what passed already. And I remember like today. There's a lot of things I don't remember. I don't want to remember. I blocked out. But things which is always with you. But going back to that girl, I got friendly with her. But I always, how long I've been in Germany, I always felt they would come for me. I had a feeling. I don't know why. Because you are not. You are not a Catholic. You are not Paul. You are Jew. But you're always somehow afraid of you. So one day, like I was thinking, I came home, they told me that Helen, they took away the Gestapo, she's Jewish. They find out she's Jewish. I said, what? I said, impossible. They made a mistake. But when I knew they took her, I knew they would come for me too. I had a feeling, and they did. I don't know who told them, or she did, or maybe somebody denounced us. I cannot say because I never find out. I had a job, and I remember sitting there, and there was such a big window, and I looked. I had a feeling they would come for me. I know I would run. I had no place to run in Germany, and I saw the Gestapo coming up. I knew they come for me, and they came. They came. They took me, and they took me to jail. They start another chapter, and they beat me every day, and I made my mind. They kill me here. I'm not telling them Jewish. First of all, I didn't want to denounce those people. They gave me the papers. I had to tell them the story. So I said, I'm getting killed. At least I will be killed myself, but not them. Not those good people. Never. So once they put me some they like hot needles here.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'm Polish. I said, so how come that papers, but they gave them the papers. They couldn't find the name. There was a fake paper that the girl, whatever, was dead or something. They couldn't find it. It was a fake something, whatever happened. I couldn't. So I said, you know what? I told them another story. I don't know. No story is unbelievable. I said, I took another name because my parents were on a different side, and I've been alone. I took anything I picked up. They didn't know what's going on. I thought I'm crazy. They said I should speak Yiddish or German. I said, I don't speak. But every Jew knows little Yiddish. I said, I don't know. How could a Pole know Jewish? Then they took me a man which speaks Polish to me. I said, I don't know what they're talking, but I understand what they talk because I know a few languages. So he said to me, you know what, with that girl, what could we do? Kill her here? We have to send her to Auschwitz. She will die there anyway. This I understood. When I heard Auschwitz, I said, well, I have a chance. I thought to myself, I have a chance. This means, when I think back, I think there's something more to it what I survived, because I died 100 times. Whatever they did to me, and I had to be here to tell the story, is something more to do it. Must be something more.
What year was this about?
This 43. Then 43. And they sent me now out from that Köln to Hanover. I've been in every jail. I've been in Hanover in jail. I've been in Berlin in jail. For what? Because they didn't know if I'm Jewish or Polish. this, I had to be in jail. But in jail was a different story. They didn't beat us there because they just let us in a little room with quite a lot of women, all kind of women. Gypsies, ugh. But one thing what I learned from a gypsy, how to tell the fortune. And from this I met a lot of people, and this is really not a joke. Even after the war, when I came out from the Auschwitz, we made jokes. I used to tell the stories to everybody. They taught me how to read the cards. It's funny. It's funny. This is just like a soap opera. Unbelievable. But anyway, the jails was a difference. And from Berlin, they took us in those trains like for cattle, from cows, and those young, and then they put from all over Poland already, all kind of from Poland, from Europe. They put together about 200 people in one little car, and we were standing up there. We couldn't move. It was hot. We couldn't move. We couldn't stand. But I think I would say about 70 to 80% people, till they opened the doors to Auschwitz, they didn't walk out. They fell out dead. And I remember on one point when they stopped, they have to refill for something. And we begged people. I know that I think what Paul said. And we begged them for a little water. They throw on us stones or some sand. This I always remember. When we came to Auschwitz, very few left, because it was such a no place to stand, no place to sleep, nothing but for a few days, no food, no water. So everybody, the older people, they didn't survive. So when they opened the cattle train, whatever. So I think I told you before, instead going out, they fell down on the street. I mean, whatever was in Auschwitz. And when I opened my eyes and I saw written in Auschwitz was written, Arbeit macht the Leben süß. This means when you work makes sweet you with life. So I looked at this, I thought, it's something. I couldn't believe what's going on. I've been already so confused with the whole thing, with Germany, or then Germany had the bombs, with jails, now with the cattle thing, and now with Auschwitz. I didn't know really well, but I didn't know if I'm alive or dead. I really didn't know. I've been like in the days. Then a few people that was left, we put in a line, and they gave us right away the run up. They cut our hair up, they put us in whatever we had, they took away, and they gave us wooden shoes with the story. I think everybody knows what happened in Auschwitz.
But how did you escape Auschwitz?
How I escaped? I've been there quite a while, till 44. The end of 44, this was in December. We knew already something. People start talking. The war will be always over, because I've been working, not sitting, not far from that oven and that gas chamber. I saw hundreds, thousands of people standing in line going into the gas chamber. I knew it. And one place I knew already what's going to happen with the Jews and what's happening, and I was sitting at a job next to the gas chamber. But some escaped, some had some jobs, so they told us the Russians are coming. They are not too far, already is a big fight. We already knew, you start talking and somebody escaped. So one night, it was about 2 weeks before the end of the war, they knocked in our barracks, whatever, they came and knocked and woke us up, and they said, we are leaving. Where we are leaving, we didn't know what's going on, we were panic, we didn't know what's going on. Of course, I remember today was winter, December, was freezing in Poland. When it's cold, it's cold. And it was snowing, and we had the wooden shoes without stockings. We had those little dresses, those striped dresses. Whatever, we had almost nothing, a piece of bread I had left for the morning. And this way we were standing in a line, they counted us, and they took us out from Auschwitz. And they called it the Death March. In the Death March, I've been there. I didn't miss not a thing. Whatever happened, I've been always. Kaja was in the middle. So anyway, and in Auschwitz, I met a Polish girl. Again, only Polish because I've been in Poland. And she been connected with England. They were a big shot. They sent her because she was like underground. She had a husband, whatever. And they sent her some packages. She always helped me with a little bread, more than, and we've been very friendly. And I've been really, she was to me like a sister. So I've been always together. Now she was a little older and a little weaker than I am. So I think when, well, I have to give my credit something, but not me, I think she would survive. I gave her a lot of, I didn't let her fail. Even there, she didn't want, she wanted to give in. I said, no, you're going to survive. You have a family, you have a husband, you must survive. And we are almost there. Now you're going to give in, not for the Germans. So when we walked out, she couldn't walk. And she was sitting. I said, get up. I picked her up because whoever was sitting, they killed. They was killing one after the other. And they didn't have time to kill us in Auschwitz. So they were killing on the roads. This was known, the Death March. And when it came night, this was already, they couldn't kill us all because this was a lot of little cities passing by. This was near Krakow because Auschwitz is not far, this is in Poland, near Krakow. And she was living not far Krakow, that woman. I said, Marishu, her name was Marishu. Could you believe it? You're not too far. Maybe something will happen. You never know, maybe. And it was night. They only told us to walk during the day. At night, they were afraid we escaped. So at night, we came to a barn, you know, like a farm. It was a barn. And they told us to stand up, whatever, one sitting in the snow. They don't care. And they went someplace with those big dogs with the shooting. And I saw a straw and hay on the barn. I said, well, you know what, let's go up there. We maybe can sleep a few hours. Maybe we sit, will be a little warmer. So she listened, we went up there. We fell asleep. And the morning, I couldn't sleep, but still in the morning I heard this, Achtung, get up, we should start going farther. I said to her, I'm not going anymore. Let them kill us here. I'm not going. Where if you go, they will kill us there. Here, they maybe will be afraid to kill, maybe will not see us. She said, you're crazy? I said, no, we are staying here. We didn't move. We were staying in the hay, covered up in the face. When they left, maybe in a few hours later, we went down. And happened, they were like Poles in German, like Volksdeutsch, they called those people, but they had that one. Would you believe it? And we went to them, and we told them we are Poles, and they took us for no reason, and she started telling the story. She was and she lives here not far. And maybe they could lend us a few dollars, zlotys, not dollars, zlotys, and she could go home. You know, they gave us a few zlotys. And we took over there, I had the name here, and there's actually a little triangle, I've been a pole. And we put whatever we had, and it was such a panic already, nobody paid attention, who's going, what's going. And we went by train to her family. This I will never forget, how they received us. And from that on, I had already much, I didn't have good because I didn't know what happened with my family, but I had food, and I had nice people surrounding, and I've been with the family about 2 weeks. They've been with us, I couldn't, like my grandmother, unbelievable. The other Pole. But you know what, she didn't know, till today she doesn't know I'm Jewish. I never met her anymore, I never thanked her. Sometimes I'm very sad. Because it was circumstances, but I couldn't tell her at the time, because I was still afraid, you never know. So I didn't tell her nothing till they want me to keep me for a while. I said, no, I have to look for my family. So I said goodbye to them, and I went my own way. And I went home then when I find out with my parents. And later, I've been so busy with my life, and I've been so miserable. I never rode back. It was a different city, and we left. I never find out what she's doing and what I'm doing. Until today, I'm sad. But one day, I would like to go back and find those nice, good people and thank them. I hope I have time for everything. I hope. Yeah. I believe it. You have willpower and believing. I believe still in God. This may be my grandmother, my home. I believe in God. But everything I've been through, I believe there's something more to it. Destiny, God, good people. I still believe it.
And the personality?
Personality helps. I think I had a shiny personality. I did. Even Auschwitz. They called me a smiley rose, a shiny rose, wherever I've been. And I had a lot of friends. Friends in what considering. sitting. I had a job in making sweaters. I never knew, but I learned there. So we had always fun. Whenever I opened a sweater, because we took out the juice, put in some diamonds, some other thing. I have to tell you, but this means how you brain. This is what you feel. When I see now a diamond, or I see jewelry, I have a little something. I don't bother even with this. I have one ring. I have a few. I wouldn't say I have one, because you work for it. You have made a little bit. You're a human, and you're a woman. You want to show another woman. But I have one ring I always wear. So I have a woman, which she knows this. She said, Rose, when you changing? I said, I forgot to change. I'm going to see you. It's something about you, because I saw materialistic thing is not worth nothing. It's only some luck, I think, to be good, a good human being. Because I saw people, their whole life, they suffered to buy a ring, whatever they had, and they put away. And then came like a Hitler, a war, nothing. But the Hitler, those people told us, when you find something, you have to give us back. If not, you get killed. And I saw it, I thought right away, I didn't want to even look at them. This means, you see it as nothing, only to be human. This is very important.
But you also needed such strength,
but
even
strength
after the
is very
war.
important. Strength, willpower, guts, strong, not to give in life. When you give in, whatever you have is nothing. Even you have millions, or you have not to give in, to go ahead.
Did you face illness after the war?
What?
Was there sickness that you had to face? Were there troubled years?
Well, I didn't have sickness, really. I wouldn't say for sickness, or like people had sleepless nights, or they went to psychiatrists, or they're sick. No, I'm lucky.
Nightmares?
I'm strong. No. I never even go to a psychiatrist, never, like people, that. No, I'm strong. I know I had to face it when I survived by myself. It's hard. I had very hard days, very sleepless nights too, to raise a family without money, and with a different country, without a language.
How did you get here?
Well, here hires. We had a quota, so I came here, and I've been for a while. Then I went once to visit my country, Israel, because I was always dreaming. Because it was the biggest dream. When we would have Israel, it would never happen like this. This is what we have to have, a country, a home. This is our home. And I was dreaming, and I didn't have the money. I had a job on Wall Street. I used to live in New York, and I always, even I came here, I had right away went to school. That time I learned key punch, whatever. I never worked in a factory, I've been on Wall Street working, had a very good job. And I saved a little money. One day I said, I'm going to Israel. And I went 26 years ago. And I met my husband, and I married, and I'm very happy. And
Mention his name. Mention his name.
His name is Jack Toren, and I'm Rose Toren. And I have a lovely daughter, she's Lily Toren. She finished college, and hopefully she's going to law school. Very bright, very beautiful girl. And by the way, I wrote a book, The Story of Rose. And this is here about my life. There's more to it, but when I told you now the story. And
it's a book in search of a publisher now. Huh?
I'm looking for a publisher. Hopefully I will get a publisher. I would love to publish that book. Okay?
And
I wrote it, and I hope I can publish. I'm looking for a publisher, because this would help people to know how I survived, and what's never to give up. I think young people should never give up, because when you have strength, you have everything. Money and education. I believe very much in education, because the little high school what I had helped me a lot. Well, I went to school in Europe after high school.
You're also talking optimism.
Oh, yes, very much. This is the main thing. And then last 2 years ago, was a gathering in Washington. I went to Washington. And then I felt it's worthwhile to went through. This is what I went through. I hope I would be bad I wouldn't go through. But when I went through, and I went to Washington for that gathering.
That was last
and
April.
I saw the president and Mrs. Reagan. Reagan came to us for that gathering, and how he spoke about Harley. And we are part of that beautiful country. I felt terrific. I felt it's worthwhile living through. And to see you are something, you did something for yourself, for my family, for the human being. And then I wrote him a letter, tell him how I felt about, this is his letter. The beautiful letter he wrote me back, really beautiful. Then I've been in front page in Los Angeles Times, too. So I think I try my best. I try my best. People should get the message. When you have strength, you have willpower, you are good, believe in people, never give up. Even somebody hurts you. A lot of times I've been hurt, a lot of times. But I still pick the good one. I think with the bad one, I move out. I don't have to be always with the bad. You pick a few. Maybe they think I move on. And this is the main thing, I think. This is what my daughter always said. Mommy, you are so, I cannot believe it, you're so strong. I said, you know what? Because I believe in what I do. I believe in it. You have to believe, not just to be strong and say, I'm strong, so I want to do something. No. I think there's something more to it, but I survived. I really mean it. Yeah. Give the message to the generation to come, even to my daughter. Hopefully she'll have children, my grandchildren, I hope. She's only 22, so let's hope.
You know, Rose, even though there weren't the goodbyes in the family, there were some messages. It's as
right,
though...
the messages, like my father believed in me. You see, and maybe he saw something, maybe he felt something. Or my mother gave me a message, run, go to Lublin, whatever, to my friend. They knew it. I've been very fond of that, my friend. And they believed in me, because since I've been a young girl, sometimes I think they're talking about women, they now they want to be some. I've been like 12, 13, that time. This is, oh God, this is, let's talk 40 years ago, but nobody was dreaming, especially in a family like mine, Orthodox, with rabbis, with not walking on Sabbath, not God forbid, not to put a light on Sabbath. Or, you know, and I was dreaming, this was my dream, and I think I'm going in the dream. And when I will not finish, maybe my daughter will finish, who knows? The other generations, and maybe whenever somebody will read my book or listen to my tape, will think, Rosa Rose, maybe we should follow her steps. It was that time like this, why not now? More to it, such a great country, such opportunities, such schools, I couldn't have it. I've been young, and came the war, and I did whatever I could, because I believed in it. And I think when you believe in something, sooner or later comes. And I believe in my book too. So this I think, God gave me the strength to be here. That's it.